right. Esther, these are obviously members of your family. Can you tell us who this photo is taken of?
Well, it's the photo of my grandpa and grandma Mertz, Grandma Christine and Grandpa John Mertz.
And who else is in this photo?
My dad, Reinhold.
And which one is he?
He's the one to your, facing it is to your
This
left. Yeah, right, that's left.
And who are the other children in the photo?
And the middle one is Rudolph Mertz, his brother.
And on the right?
That's John Mertz, the brother.
And when was this photo taken?
That was taken soon after they came to America. That was in 1906 or so.
And was this traditional dress at the time?
Yeah, it had to be. I'm sure those clothes they brought over from Russia. Sure.
And where in Russia did they come from?
From Glickstal.
And where is Glickstal?
Well, it's over in Siberia now. We were over there, saw it. Yep.
And what do you remember about your grandpa? Did he always look like this?
Yeah, well, he looked a lot younger here, of course, but he always had a big mustache. So I remember that about Grandpa. He never took his mustache off.
And what about your grandmother?
Well, Grandma was a lot thinner when I got to know her. After she had 10 children, I think, and all that work, you know, she had no automatic machines like we do now. She had to rub everything. I'm sure some of the older girls helped her with it too, but still, can't imagine. But then she was thin, and well, when she died, she was really skin and bones too. So, yeah.
All right, Esther, is this your parents?
Yes, that's my mom and dad.
And who's the little one they're holding?
It's supposed to be me, but I haven't got my face turned towards the camera.
And you were about how old were you here? About one?
Oh, I'd say it was at least about 2, I'd say.
And was this taken at the old farmhouse?
Yes. Out by that building the little house.
What can you tell us about your parents? What do you remember the most about your parents?
Well, I don't know. They always were hard-working, that I know they were, and they always try to get everything that we really needed. We always had enough food and stuff like that, and had enough clothes to wear. They made sure that we were warm and comfortable. That I remember about them. But I know Dad always thought work was very important, more so than anything else.
And in this, you obviously are joined by a few siblings. And which ones are these? Your parents?
Well, on the left is Dad, in the background, Dad and Ma.
And that's you, of course, right?
Right, and me.
And in the front?
Then in the front is Melvin, Elvin, Eileen.
And do you have any fun stories about your siblings that you'd like to share?
Well, about my brother Melvin, he never got to drive the tractors or anything, and the minute folks were out of the yard, then he went in the shed and had to start up the tractor. And one time he backed the little tractor out, and well, he let the clutch out so fast, and it took a jump and it went out the back door and broke the door. And then I said, "Oh, I told you not to go in there and start that tractor." I told him that because he never got to drive it hardly. He didn't know that much about it, but he had to go in and start it up when folks were gone. Well, he said, don't say anything to Dad. Well, the next morning, that was the first thing Dad noticed, that door was broken. So he put it back in again and tried to nail it up a little bit, but that was the first thing Dad saw then.
So what kind of trouble did he get into?
Well, Dad scolded him, but that was about it. I told him not to do it, but he had to get in there and try it. You know, he never got to drive it otherwise. But
And what about any other stories? What kind of things would you do as children?
oh, we'd play, like I said, we played church in the house, and
Can you explain what you would do?
well, we imitated some of the neighbor women, and we all had a name. Each one had a different name, you know.
And what were
I
they?
was Lydia, and she was a lady there in the neighborhood that went to our church, and we really liked her. So I was a nice person, actually. And actually, they all were. And Beatsy, well, this younger brother of mine that stands in the front, the little one, he was Beatsy, but he didn't want to go in and sing with us behind the stove. He didn't care for singing that much. And Aline, well, she loved singing. She still sings to this day and plays guitar in golden age homes and nursing homes. So, and she was, let me see, I was Lydia and she was Ida. And then Melvin, the taller one there, he was Emma.
So would he dress up as a girl then?
Well, yeah, we put clothes on. We had old clothes from some of Ma's. We put them on and went back there. And we had books to sing. And even if we didn't look that much into them, we knew the songs by heart. But we went behind the stove and then we sang.
And Melvin was okay with dressing like a girl?
Yeah, sometimes he didn't want to put a dress on. But we said it looks better if he puts the dress on, for he's a woman now. So.
Was that a pretty frequent game that you guys would play?
We done that quite a bit. I say, at least on weekends. We'd usually always done it.
Do
Like
you still
Friday.
tease him about it today?
Huh?
Do you still tease him?
Well, we talk about it yet. We always imitated those women, you know. Yeah.
And this is another family picture. What
Yeah.
can you tell me about this one?
Well, that's me and Dad and Ma in the back, and the same, I think that was almost taken probably the same time. And then it's my sister Aline and Elvin and Melvin. The taller one is Melvin, to your right.
And this is also back at the old farmhouse?
No, I think
The
this
garden?
was taken at my grandma Warner's place in Wishick. That was taken at Wishick. That's not at the farmhouse. I thought it was the same picture, almost the same clothes
Looks like
we
you're
had
standing
on.
in a garden.
Huh?
Looks like you're standing in a garden.
I don't know.
And did you often visit your grandparents in Wishick?
Not very often, no. See, we just had a grandma there. The grandpa had passed away early, too. He died in 1917 when the flu epidemic was that time. And he had been ailing before. I think he had a heart condition, and then he got the flu and he died. And actually, there was a lot of sadness in that family. Within 1 year, the father died, and then one of the boys got shot. The boys were playing around with a rifle. Neighborhood boys were there, and he got shot, killed. And my ma and him, another brother, he was the oldest brother, ma was going to confirmation school that year, and a train hit them when they went into town in Wishick, and he was killed outright, and my ma was injured pretty bad too. But she recovered again, but he died. And then after that, they had the youngest sister. She sat in front of the stove, and they had a boiler on the stove with water in. It boiled over, and she got burned so bad, she died too.
That is sad.
Yeah, all within a year.
And how many siblings did your mother have?
Well, she had, I think, 3 more or 4 more. Yeah, she had 2 more brothers and 2 more sisters. Yeah,
That's sad.
and 3 of
Was
them.
she the oldest?
Yeah, she was the oldest. Of the girls, not of the boys.
Oh, okay.
There was boys that Jacob was older than her too, but he got killed. And then there was another one, I think Philip, he was older. And then there was John, he was after my mother.
What do you remember about your aunts and uncles on your mother's side?
Well, I don't know, they just never went away that much. They were not that sociable as, I think, on the Mertz families. They just never really went visiting much. I know every time my dad would always say, when he went down there, that's the last time I'm going down there. They got to come up first. Well, they wouldn't come, and they wouldn't come till he'd show up there again, and that's the way it went, you know. He'd say that, and I don't know why, but they just never came. So it's very seldom that they came, that we saw them.
Okay. And this is still your parents, but who are the little ones in this picture?
That's the next generation, the second group that was born to our parents when they had this second group of family.
And what are their names?
The one to your left there, the little one, that's Sandy.
And then the one next to her?
That's Bernice. And the next to her is Joanne. She's married to Larry Galber. And the next one is Quentin.
And is that your grandma on the left side?
My mother.
That's your, right here?
Yeah, that's my mother.
Then is this you?
That's Eileen.
That's Eileen.
Yeah, that's Eileen. I'm not there.
And is this at is this at your old house?
I think that was taken maybe at Wishick too.
And what was so unusual about this next generation of Mertz kids?
Well, I don't know. After they had been married so long and we kids were all fairly grown up already, then they had these others that were real close. They were all only about 2 years apart. So.
Did you know this set of siblings well?
Yeah, we did, except for Sandy. She was born the year I got married, so I never got to have her around much. But Joanne and Quentin and Bernice, I remember them. I had to take care of them quite a bit. So.
The trials of an older sister.
Right.
And this is a family picture taken later on when everybody was somewhat grown up.
Yeah, right.
And the whole Mertz family. And can you tell me who is in this picture in the back row?
That's Eileen, Melvin, Quentin, Elvin, and me.
In front?
In front is Dad. Then it's Joanne, Sandy, Bernice, and Ma. Mother Frida.
Mm-hmm. And this looks like a studio picture. Where would you go to get a studio picture taken?
I think that was taken at Jamestown. See, the reason we had that taken was because Elvin was in the service. So we thought that we should have a picture when he came home on furlough. So that's when that picture was taken.
And how long did he serve in the military?
Well, I think he was in 2 years or better. I don't know. He was over in Germany. And
did he come back?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that lives on the farm out there.
Okay. So he's the one who lives at the old home now.
Right, he lives on the home
And
place.
Still farming.
Yep.
And who is this young couple?
Yeah, right. This is Esther and her husband, Riney, up. Yeah.
And taken what year were you married?
1947, November the 27th, on my birthday.
And what birthday was it?
21.
Now, was it a good birthday?
Yeah, it wasn't until now.
And what can you tell us about your wedding day? What was it like?
Oh man, that was a terrible day. The
Why
day
so?
before, we had so much snow. Well, when the parents made arrangements for the wedding, that they started on the 1st of November, they got together and talked it over, and then it snowed every day, till the 27th. Had a big blizzard that day before, and it got cold, and a lot of people never made it to the wedding. The wedding wasn't straighter, and they got stuck, and on 34, the snowbanks were higher than the cars. You know, they just had a trail through there, higher than the cars, and then it blew. And then that day, it was clear then on the 27th, but cold. It was cold.
Did you take any pictures outside that day?
No.
Did you have any of the traditional dances, or?
Yes, we did have a wedding dance, but we had it night after that.
And
This
what
was
about
on
food?
Thanksgiving Day.
It was on Thanksgiving.
That was Thanksgiving Day also.
That was a busy day.
Yeah, it sure was.
And what kind of food did you serve at the wedding?
Oh, we had a big meal. They had mashed potatoes and turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce and everything that goes with Thanksgiving, sure.
So it wasn't really traditional German Russian food?
No,
it was
a traditional Thanksgiving.
And did you take a honeymoon after the wedding?
No, we
Where
never.
did you go? Just back to your farm?
Well, we stayed in with his parents. That's where we spent the honeymoon. So till we went out to the farm then later on. But we were in there for a while and till his other brother was going to move. They had bought another place and we were going to go on that place. So
How'd that work?
it worked pretty good, I guess, yeah. Well, we even had a place there where my uncle lived and he was going to move. So we didn't stay there very long, but they moved anyway. But we went to this place. This uncle was retiring, and that was Aunt Melita and Henry, Uncle Henry. And they moved to town, and we went to their place. We rented that place then.
For how long?
So, oh, we were there, I think, about 3, 4 years.
This looks like a little more recent photo later on of you and your sisters.
Right, when we were all fairly grown.
Is this taken at the old house?
Yeah, that's out at the farm. That was taken at the farm. You see the barn in the background, the chicken barn we had up there.
And was this a trip you took back home, or was this just one of the times everybody was together? And
Well, the rest were all home yet. I think I was married that time already. But the rest were still home, so we just had a picture taken of all of us together. And you want to know who they all are then?
oh, there it says.
Oh, it's on there. Mm-hmm. Okay. You don't have to mention it.
What kind of things would you sisters do together that the brothers wouldn't want to be involved with?
Well, they made what they'd done as in childhood days. They made a lot of mud pies, them girls. They always were making mud pies and decorating them, and I don't know. And they cut out of catalogs too, made paper dolls. And in the evenings, a lot of times they made popcorn. And well, as we got older, we done some embroidering at home too, and they did too. And oh yeah, my mother made root beer, and we had root beer. That was pretty good with the
Homemade
popcorn.
root beer?
Yep.
How would she make that?
Well, I know she put yeast in, and she bought the root beers. You can buy that, and made it. It was good. I've never made it, so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Esther, who are the 3 young guys in this photo?
Well, to your left is Riney, my husband. Next is his brother Eddie, They called him Eddie. His name was Edward. And the other one is Benny. They called him Benny. His name was Benjamin.
And was it typical for young guys to go out and just bareback riding?
Yeah, they'd done a lot of that, I guess. So
And is this out of
even
his
went to
family?
the neighbors on horseback, you know. So
Did he ever visit you the same way?
no.
No?
And then he had a car. Would have been pretty far if he'd have come up there on horseback.
How far away did he live from you?
Oh, about 30 miles.
Okay. Okay. And how
Yeah.
did you meet him?
When I was teaching over that area. So
And this looks like a family photo. Is this your
Right.
husband's family?
yes, it's my husband's family.
And can you tell us who they are?
In the back to your left is Riney, my husband. And then is his brother Arthur. Next is his brother Henry. Then his brother August. And his brother Edward.
And in the front?
The front is Frida, his sister. And then their dad. And then sitting up in the middle there is Benjamin. And then his mother, Elizabeth. And then their sister, Tilly, who was the oldest.
Of all of them, she was the
Yeah,
youngest.
she was the oldest of all of them, the children.
And how old was your husband when this was done? Do you know?
I don't really know.
Was this after you had met him?
That was before.
This is before you met him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't got the uniform on. I thought maybe it was taken when the boys were in the service, too, but...
Were they all in the service?
Well, my husband was and his brother Art was. Just them two.
And where did they serve?
My husband was over in Korea.
And his brother?
I don't know for sure where all he was. Not sure.
This looks like your husband with his brothers.
Right?
It's a bit
All
of a
lined up.
stair step.
From the oldest on to the youngest.
And from the left, who are they?
That's Henry, August, Edward, Riney, Arthur, and Benjamin.
Is this a photo taken after you met him, or is this long before?
That was before, too.
Before.
Oh, yeah. Benny was little then, and he got married not too long after we did.
So how old was your husband when you got married?
23.
Okay.
No, 24. Oh, it doesn't make much difference.
So it's your husband, Ryan. When did he enter the service?
In 45, I think. Maybe 44. Must have been 44. 46. Because we got married. We went together about a year, so must have been 44.
So you were married before this?
No,
You were married after that?
after that.
After that.
We got married in 47.
And what can you tell us about your husband? What was he like when you met him?
Oh. I don't know what to say.
Did he sweep you off your feet?
Kind of, yeah. I think so. He was very good looking when he came back from the service, you know. And everybody liked the servicemen when they came back. And so, I guess he had a lot of girlfriends then. So,
But he picked you. You picked him.
yeah, I guess at least we ended up getting married. On his 50th years of the Legion, I think.
50th year of the Legion. And this is recent.
Yeah, it was just taken a year ago or so.
Anything else you want to tell us about him before we move on?
Well, he always was a hard worker too, but Now he's where he can't work anything anymore, so.
Esther, where are we today?
In Glickstall Cemetery.
And where's Gleekstall?
Well, it's south of Tappan and I don't know, about 13, 14 miles south of Tappan.
And we're walking in the Gleekstall Cemetery. Who is buried here?
Oh, a lot of my aunts and uncles are buried here, and friends we knew from church. They're buried here.
And I think we're headed over to see, is it your grandparents, your father's parents?
My dad's parents, yeah.
Esther, what can you tell us about your grandparents?
Well, Grandma died really young. She was sick for some time, and then she went to the hospital and she never came home anymore. They done surgery on her and she never come home alive anymore.
And what was that like for you?
Well, I know the Sunday we were there before she left, we were all lined up to shake hands and got our hugs from her and never saw her no more alive after that. It was kind of a shock.
How did
I guess,
your family take it?
well, I guess most of the others figured she'd never come back, but we didn't. I didn't think so, that she wouldn't come back anymore. We were young then. And then, of course, Grandpa, he lived pretty long. We were married already, and he died the year that our youngest daughter was born. So.
And what do you remember the most about your grandparents?
Well, that we'd always go over there and we'd like to go to their house, you know, and get little treats there and candy and stuff when we come there. So we always liked that.
And out here in, is it Gluckenstall?
Glickstall.
Gleekstall. What did this place mean to your grandfather?
Well, I'm sure that's where he always had intended to be buried, because it was where their faith was really all the years when they came over from Russia. And Glickstall was Happy Valley, and he wanted to be buried here. And, well, Grandma was buried here first, but eventually he was buried here too. And he done a lot here in the church. And
What kind of things did he do here at the church?
well, he played the organ all the time and led the devotions here, and he taught Sunday school all the years, many, many years here. So those are some of the things that I remember about Grandpa here. It just wasn't normal when he wasn't here anymore, when he didn't come here.
And what was it like when he passed away?
Well, he had been sick for some time, and I know the pastor, when he was here now, he said he remembers when he visited Grandpa Mertz the last time. How did he put it again now? He said, when he visited him, and he said, the door won't shut anymore or something like it. He said it in German, that he figured he wasn't going to be here anymore and that he wouldn't get well anymore. He knew he was going to die, and he had told the pastor Ost that.
And did your grandfather, did he come over from Russia?
Yes, he came over from Russia.
How old was he?
Well, they had the 3 children, so I don't know. I suppose he was like maybe 30 years old, maybe not even quite 30.
Did he or your grandmother ever talk about their journey?
They didn't talk too much about it. I guess they didn't like the journey that they mentioned, you know, how bad it was, how some got sick on the way over. And
did they mention how hard it was?
Oh yeah, that they mentioned, you know, how hard it was. And they always were a saving family. They never, anything was thrown away, that I know. Everything they could possibly recycle or reuse, they used. Yeah, that.
Anything else you want to talk about your grandparents on while we're here?
Well, what else could I say about them?
Were they traditional German Russians?
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, they always only spoke German, and I think they were typical. They were hardworking people, and like they all were in the German Russian. Like Uncle Gus said, the youngest one of the boys, he said, the ethic around here was always work, work. There was never a time for a vacation, he said. There was always work every day. He said they never got to take a vacation. So, so they worked hard, and I think that was what they wanted their kids to do too, work hard and to be successful.
And that's something your father taught you.
You're right, and my dad was like that too, I think.
Typical German Russian.
Yeah, I think so. Pretty much the same way. Yeah.
Esther, who are we standing in front of today?
That was my Aunt Ottilia Mertz. She was married to my Uncle Gustav.
And what do you remember about Ottilia?
Oh, we had a lot of fun together. They came and visited us, and they were just married a few years, and well, the oldest boy was 7 years old, I think, and then there was a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old when she passed away.
Do you know what she passed away? Why? What caused it?
Well, she was sick for some time, and I really don't know what she died of for sure. I don't want to say anything but I know she had been sick for some time, and she went to the hospital and they operated on her, and she never made it out. She died.
And what did your family do after that?
Well, some of the children, some of the aunts and uncles took the children, and some of the wolves took, one wolf took the boy, and one family took the girl, and the youngest girl, my other uncle, they took her in. So they raised them then.
Do you remember the funeral?
Yeah, I do remember the funeral.
What was that like?
Well, it was a sad funeral, that I know. 3 little children there. And yeah.
Was it a traditional Lutheran service?
Yeah, it was pretty much like any service otherwise.
And
But
what do you remember the most about Ottilia?
Well, she was always friendly and nice. She'd do anything for you. I remember when we went to dances together, yeah, too. So she liked to dance too, her husband.
Did she teach you how?
No, not really, but still, we danced.
What kind of dances?
Oh, waltzes and 2-steps, and I think even the polkas.
Esther, where are we standing?
By Uncle Jake's grave.
And
Uncle Jake and Leah.
what do you remember about your Uncle Jake?
Well, I remember he always liked me when I was little. He always wanted to hold me and gave me horseback rides. And, and he visited my folks a lot. He came there a lot when we grew up.
And what did he pass away from?
Well, he was pretty old already. I really don't know. He was, I think, 90 years old.